Hi, YouTube. Just waiting for my TikTok audience to turn up. Getting all organized here. I'm not OCD, but everything has a place. I'm very organized. It's not why you're tuning in. You're probably tuning out if you heard that. I teach parenting, so we're just waiting for my TikTok people to turn up, and then I'll start answering questions. Hello, Sandra Powder. While we're waiting for people to turn up, I'd love to know where you're from. As usual, I'm here in Vancouver, Canada, and I'm here every day. Madeline, you're familiar. You've been here before. Hello, Alexa. Hello, Alexa. Texas. Only flew through Texas once very quickly, but loved what I saw. I'm going to get back there one day. Washington State. So hi, neighbor. Mama Marissa, you've been here before, haven't you, Mama Marissa? So where are you from? I had a weird day today. I don't know why. Just haven't even answered my emails yet today. I'll get to that tonight. But yeah, just a weird day. Doing weird stuff. Okay. And then I've got two sessions tonight, and then I'll be able to get to my emails. So, but in the meantime, I've got about a half hour right now, so I thought I'd do a live rather than answer emails, because that might take longer. I don't like to start something when I can't finish it, so I'll do that afterwards. 3-year-old tantrums are ruining my life, and I feel trapped inside my home. We'll get to you. I'm just going to introduce myself, actually. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on my website, it's bratbusters.com. You can hire me for coaching, buy one of my courses, or download my free behavior board. My calm leadership course has changed. I had to take out the group coaching because that's already filled up. So now I've just eliminated the coaching, and you can just get it as is without the coaching. And then I'll hopefully be able to bring the group coaching back again. Okay. So 3-year-old tantrums are ruining my life, and I feel trapped inside my home. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Is there, I just have too many questions. That's like saying parenting is a struggle. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff I could answer. Maybe if you could, like tantrums are something that you have to ignore. I've got tons and tons of videos on tantrums. I also have a mini course on tantrums. My mini courses, my niche courses are just $29, and it's on tantrum busting on my website. And it does include 3-year-olds. Because you never put no tantrums on a behavior board. That's like saying have no emotions, or have no feelings, or have no outbursts, or have no loss of control. It's too broad. We don't put attitude or anything like that. Okay. Well, I need the age. The kids who are mocking you, I need the age. And by the way, that just says they don't respect you. So remember, kids' behavior is just a direct result of your parenting. So we don't fix kids. We teach you how to be a leader. When you're a leader, they don't mock you. They don't talk back to you. They're not rude. They're respectful. So that's what this is all about. So anyway, my course is available now. I took off the coaching because that filled up. So now that big course on how to be a calm leader is $197, and it's 5 weeks. And you can pace yourself, but I'd rather you do it over 5 weeks. But anyway, that's on my website if you're interested. We just had a new baby. She's no longer the only child. Congratulations. It's exciting. 4 and 6. Okay, let me go back now what your question was. Kids mocking, 4 and 6. It just means they don't respect you. If they're mocking you, that's like the ultimate of disrespect. So work on your leadership skills. You don't put no mocking. You don't put anything like that. You never put attitude on a behavior board. Use my behavior board. It's free on my website. Or if you want to use that course, it's $197. I just opened that up, I think, yesterday. Without the group coaching, because that filled up. So I can see that might be an issue. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, because I don't want to have to close it down. I want to be able to leave it open. So anyway, that's available. It goes through 5 weeks of teaching you exactly how to be a calm leader. Or if you want to hire me for coaching, or if you want to do it all for free on your own, you can give it a go with my free behavior board. It teaches you how to give respect to get it. It's all on my website, bratbusters.com. That behavior board, I think I started my business 17 years ago, and I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting the results I expected to get with my clients. It's because they really didn't get that they had to be accountable. Then I invented the behavior board with the parents on it. Everything changed after that. If you're not accountable, how do you expect your kids to be accountable, right? Do you know what drives me nuts? This is going to be a controversial statement, but I hate it when I see a police car speeding and then they just get to a Starbucks and get coffee. Like, fine if they've got to speed to an emergency, but then they'll actually argue. I've heard this before. Oh, well, we did have a call, but it got called off, so they don't speed. But yeah, if you want us to be accountable, you better set a good example. And 99.9% of police officers do. But the odd time you'll see stuff like that, that gets on my nerves. Like, it just gets on my nerves. Think how your kids feel if you're not accountable. It's the same feeling. So that's how I equate that. That's how I make that more relatable for you. How would you feel if you saw police breaking the rule? There were no rules for them. It's the same with you. Wouldn't you respect them more if they also were accountable? It's the same with your kids with you. That's why it's so important to be accountable. I was part of the first round coaching. Alexandra, I feel like we are regressing. Yeah, its maintenance is huge. It's absolutely huge. So you go back and you just read it all again and then see where you slipped up. You might be able to identify that. If you want my help with that, unfortunately, you have to hire me to deal with that. It might just be one session. But yeah, that does happen. It happens in coaching all the time. I'll deal with people and they'll be going great. And then they'll go, oh, okay, I'm getting results. And then they start to slack up. It's just like dieting. I can tell you exactly how to lose weight and how to get fit. But you have to actually do it, and you have to do it long term. It's the long game. It's a slow burn. It's not overnight. Once you start seeing results, it's almost like you have to dig your heels in even tougher, and you have to keep going with it. The kids are going to look for loopholes. They're going to look for weaknesses. And if you allow those weaknesses to show, especially if you've been consistent, all of a sudden you're not as consistent. They're going to go, oh, okay, you're not in charge after all. Maintenance is really important, especially when it takes about 3 to 6 months to really get that mutual respect cemented. So yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. It happens, but you regroup, go back, go through the whole course, look at it all, see where you've slipped up, where you were doing well, and if you have regressed yourself, because yeah, it's all you, right? It's all on you, which is good news. It means you can control yourself, not your kids. You can never control kids or anybody else. You can only control yourself. So yeah. Have we talked yet, Alexandra? Am I talking to you tonight? No, I can't remember if we've talked yet. Anyway, sorry about that. Let me know if we've talked, because I'm talking to all the parents that went through that course. Have we? I can't remember if we've already talked. If not, let me know and we'll have a little, like after I finish that course with everybody, the first round that went through, I'm doing a 30-minute check-in afterwards to see how it went. So if we haven't done that yet, contact me, okay? You know what it's like, though? It's just like, oh, we talked. No, we talked already. Yeah, it just happens sometimes, And the courses, it's good. It's more general. If you're really struggling, that might be one-on-one coaching. But a whole bunch of people are getting results with that course already, from what I hear. And I've also got other people going through it, too. So it is kind of general. It's sort of like the difference between, how do I explain this? Sometimes let's say dieting. You go to a diet center, you learn how to lose weight, and then all of a sudden you're not there. It's those weekly catch-ups. You know what I said I was going to do and I haven't done it yet? It's the membership thing. My time is really precious right now. So what I'm going to do is people who've gone through that course, I am going to offer, I'm not going to do a membership site. I'll just offer some catch-ups too in a group situation. So that's a really good point. I'm going to offer that too, because I don't want to just leave you hanging. And I don't want to keep saying, oh, keep hiring me, give me more money. I'm uncomfortable with that. Lots of people do, though. Like, they keep coming back year after year after year. Because kids grow up, you get different challenges, right? Okay, so let me just write this down, Alexandra. Sessions. So what I'm going to do, I've got it all planned out. I just have to find time in my schedule. I have to set time aside, but I have to go through all the sessions I've already got with coaching clients first, and then I'm leaving those spots open in future. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm already kind of booked up. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to offer you whenever you want to sign in, and you can turn up for those individual. They'll just be like a 1-hour group coaching session, but it's just a one-off, and you can join as many as you want, and they'll be $50 each. I've already figured all that out. So I'm going to have it for toddlers too, and the course. I'm going to do it for the course too. Anyway, I got so many things planned. You're a good, honest soul. I try. The membership idea, I'll tell you why I didn't do that. The reason is that if I'm tied into a membership, my time is tied in. And I mean, I'm sure you don't understand what I go through in my business, but my top priority is my clients in crisis. I do deal with life and death situations. If I tied myself into a whole bunch of membership times when I have to turn up, and those crisis clients, those are times they can't get. Do you see what I'm saying? I always like to leave myself open for crisis clients. They're my top priority because it is life and death. It's usually teenage stuff, right? So that's why I'm kind of holding back on that membership. I don't want to tie myself into a time because those are times, because it's going to be a popular time, right, for the memberships. So more people can turn up, but that's also when parents who really need me can turn up too. So yeah, I'm trying to figure it all out because yeah, I can't put them on the back burner. I just can't. Oh, going on vacation. It's summer too. That's a big part of it too. You know, actually it's weird. My biggest 2 months are usually September and January. Last year it was December, around Christmas. It was one of my busiest months. That's usually one of my slowest months. I can't figure it out, but September is usually a really big month. And you can just imagine all the bedlam that's happened over summer. We were doing so well, and then we went away, and then, you know, and then we wanted to relax, and, you know, it's like dieting. You can't put it on hold. It has to be 24/7. It just does initially for the first 3 to 6 months. But remember, you're only picking certain rules that you're really focused on with those 3 behavior boards. And then the in-the-moment discipline, you can address that too, but it's those behavior boards, and you've just got to cement that, and then you can sort of go away from those. But you just gotta be consistent, and it takes time. It's not quick, but you can learn how to do all this in 5 weeks, but it's an ongoing process afterward. I remember years ago, after my second child, you know, you have your first kid, all the weight drops off, and I gained like 70 pounds with each kid. So I went for it. And anyway, it all just fell off with my first. My second, I think, yeah, it didn't fall off at all. I might have lost maybe 10 pounds. Anyway, so I said, okay, I'm just going to go to Weight Watchers. In 6 months, I'm going to drop the weight. And because I had a wake-up call at the gym, I won't go into great detail. It's a long story, but I used to teach aerobics and that. So I had a bit of a reputation. Here I am turning up heavier and unfit. So anyway, my friends hated it. Sorry. Ooh, that's a bad one. We've got one of the dogs on my floor recently had to be muzzled, and the other dogs are terrified when they go out in the hallway, so that's what's going on. They don't realize that dog's been muzzled, so they must have run into him in the hallway. If you don't socialize your dogs, you know, you have to muzzle them. If they're an aggressive breed. God, I wish they'd go in the stairwell. What was I saying even? Oh, Weight Watchers. Anyway, I turned up and I said, I'm going to lose 60 pounds in 6 months it must have been. Yeah, 10 pounds a month. So, and they all go, yeah, right. But I did it. And I normally wouldn't. Like, that's just a sec. But I did it. But you know what it was? It was just absolute hell, and it was consistency. And then maintaining it was easier after that. But yeah, it's hard. Making changes is hard. Yeah, we have a dog on this floor it's a pit bull, and I think the owner likes having a tough dog, so never socialized it. Now we've had to make sure she muzzles it now. We're all, even as adults, even as humans, we're afraid of it. It's a very aggressive looking dog. But anyway, it happens. I live in a building. I live downtown. I've lived in houses. I prefer chaos downtown. Okay, I'm a daycare director, one preschooler, bit of teacher, and positive reinforcement. Oh yeah, I don't teach daycaring. I don't know anything about it. Like I stay in my lane. I only teach parenting. I teach parent-child relationships and respect. I don't do any of that. Do you have any advice on how to set a boundary with a grandmother? Yes. Say, yes, I do. Say, look, this is my kid. I'm just uncomfortable with blah, blah, blah. And then if the grandmother argues with you, say, you know, it hurts my feelings when you undermine my parenting. Can you please just respect that this is my child and this is my boundary or rule? It's all you can do. You lead with your feelings, okay? Don't criticize her, but lead with your feelings, how it makes you feel. It's very hard to argue that. Sometimes people who are really, I've dealt with some really pushy people in my personal life. They're all gone now because I got rid of them. You call those people as you get older. Anyway, but yeah, the ones who are pushy, if you say, look, it makes me feel a certain way, or I don't like it when you do say this to me, and they go, well, you're just overly sensitive. And then you think, oh, get rid of them. Like, can't get rid of a grandmother though. So, but yeah, some people are just more difficult than others. They just are. Was it hard to adjust back and forth when summers and winters were in Australia? Well, I was just here, and then I was there for 20 years, and then I was here. So it was just like that one winter. But when we first moved to Canada, my kids, of course, weren't used to any cold weather. So they didn't really know how to put jackets on even. They were like so confused. They'd just go out without a jacket. And it was like, 2 feet of snow. Like they just had no concept. And the first time they saw frost, they'd never seen frost. And that there was frost in the grass in the backyard here in Canada, and they went out to play in the snow. They were going to make snowmen with frost. All the neighbors are laughing at my kids, my silly Aussie kids. They didn't know. It looked like snow to them. They didn't know what frost was. Anyway, 2-year-old won't sleep through the night. He cries for milk every couple hours. Yeah, you're going to have to wean him off that. So I would go in there and I would say, well, that's a bit of a tricky one because I don't know your situation. Like, is he hungry? Or like, does he drink a lot? Are you breastfeeding? You know what I mean? Like, is it a comfort thing, or is he truly hungry? Is he breastfeeding? Is it comfort? So yeah, I'd have too many questions around that. 27-month-old is hitting, throwing things. We tell him no, remove it, but he laughs. Tips. Yeah. That's not real laughter, by the way. Anyway, go on my website if you're interested in a course on that. It's called, what's it called? Toddlers Who Hit, I think I called it. I keep meaning to change the name to Aggressive Toddlers. I'm too lazy for that. I don't like the website stuff. But anyway, it teaches you how to deal with that. Now, tantrums are different. If they hit during a tantrum, that has nothing to do with that other course because that's just a loss of control, right? But if they hit outside of a tantrum, then that's that other course. They're quite different behaviors. How do you stop yelling? Well, you make sure there's a consequence. You put no yelling on the behavior board for yourself. And if you do yell, there's a consequence. It's usually you have to play with the kids for 30 minutes, whatever they want. One mom said I said, so what's it going to be, Mom? What do you have to do? What would they love that you hate? And they're always asking you to do. And she knew exactly what it was. It was leapfrog. And I said, you mean leapfrog? And she goes, yep. So if she yelled, she had to play leapfrog. It doesn't just, what it does is it's got a lot of psychological things going on here. It's teaching the children that yelling, you're accountable for yelling, and you're trying to stop doing it. So it gives them hope. It also, when you're playing with them, you bond with them more. While you're playing with kids, they usually are pretty well behaved. So you're bonding with them. That's 30 minutes when they're going to be really well behaved, and you're bonding with them. You're becoming a leader, and you're becoming like you're getting respect by giving it. You're giving them respect by playing with them in their world because you did something bad. You yelled. You got to be accountable. So it's not that you yell. I don't have a problem with that. Most of my clients yell. I'm always shocked when someone says they don't yell. It's like I don't even know what to do with them. I'll say, okay, do you yell? And I'm ready to type down no yelling. And they go, no, we don't. And I'm like, it's like I don't even know where to go after that because most people yell. So it's not that you yell. It's that, are you accountable when you do? And when as time goes on, you'll stop yelling. It's small. There's this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And the message that I think the most important message you get out of that is that it's not about big goals and achieving them today. It's like with parenting and everything. It's about tiny stacking habits. So you're getting 1% better every day or something like that. But yeah, so you may yell 20 times in one day. It doesn't mean that you're playing with them for 30 minutes. But if you yell a lot, then you might have to play for a whole hour. You combine all those yells in the whole day, and then you have to play for an hour instead of 30 minutes. So what you're doing is you're habit stacking. It just gets easier as time goes on, but you got to be consistent. You can't miss a day. Also, he writes down, this is really common, like Jerry Seinfeld used to do this. It was momentum or something. It was tracking. So like on the calendar, you track every day you didn't yell. You want to yell initially because you want to show them that you're accountable. So if you feel a yell coming on, let it happen. But as time goes on, mark down all the days you didn't yell, and you'll start to see improvement, and it's encouragement to keep going. Okay. It's just comfort. It's usually a bottle. You're not going to like my answer. You got to go through one hell of an awful night. You can't just cut down on the feeds, you have to cut them out. It's like saying, I'm going to quit smoking, but I'm only going to smoke 10 cigarettes a day instead of 20. I used to be a smoker, by the way, like 40 years ago, I quit. And I remember thinking, okay, I'll cut down. It's like an alcoholic too. You don't just cut down, you got to cold turkey it. So that you're not going to like that. But yeah, just say no. You can go in there, pat them on the back and say no, no milk, good night, and then leave the room. And then every time they get up it's just going to be difficult. But yeah, it's got to be like cut the cord, pull off the Band-Aid in one go. You don't just take it off slowly. So yeah, you don't like that answer, do you? I don't blame you. But it's usually one night of hell, and then it's better. If you drag it out, it gets worse usually, because they'll scream even harder to get the extra feeds. Anyway, I'll tell you a funny story. I have a cousin who she said she was going to quit smoking, which she did. Anyway, but she tried many times, as we all did back in the day when we smoked. You try many times before you actually quit. And anyway, so she decided she was only allowed to smoke when she was in the car. Well, of course, she lived her whole life in the car. Couldn't wait to get in that car. So, and I tried that too. I don't remember what it was, but I was only allowed to smoke at when I was doing something. So of course I did it all the time. Like, you always find ways around it. So it's got to be cold turkey, like with the bottles at night. Difficult though, isn't it? Sorry about that. Can't make it easy for you. None of this is easy, but it's worth it. Consequences spending time with your kids. It's in their world, something that they love, you hate, and they're always asking you to do. Do you normally play leapfrog with them? You see what I mean? It's usually something like that. So, and even then, it's about bonding time. It's about you do something nasty to them, then you do something nice with them. It doesn't, and not one kid, I've been doing this for 17 years now, not one kid has been offended that your punishment is being with them. If not one kid ever in 17 years has ever said, you mean being with me is a punishment? Not one. They're just so thrilled that you're leapfrogging with them. Or, like teenagers are thrilled that you're taking them out for a driving lesson or something. It's just part of it. Like they just don't ever seem to be offended by that. Parents think they will be. But I'm telling you, not one that I've ever heard of. Maybe they have, but I've never heard of it once in 17 years. That a kid goes, you mean spending time with me is a punishment? That hurts my feelings. I've never heard anything like that. They're like, yippee, leapfrog. Ha ha, you yelled. You have to play. Ha ha, you have to play whipped cream in the face game with me now. They love it. Also because they're in charge. It's what they want to do. It's good stuff. It's bonding. Why did you change the price of your Calm Leadership course? I had it filled up and I took out the group coaching. It had weekly group coaching in there. It filled up. I can only manage so many people in group coaching. So I thought, oh great, now it's shut down for 5 weeks. See what I mean? It was shut down. I thought it's going to be shut down for 5 whole weeks now. I thought, I waited a couple of weeks before I figured out, I don't like this. I want to be able to offer it all the time. So that's why I took out the group coaching and I put it up there so anyone can do it. And plus, some people are going through that now, and then they hire me for one session. It's still cheaper, but you can still hire me on the side. But anyway, that's why it filled up. Should I put a note on there to explain that to people? Maybe I will. So yeah, it's just got no group coaching. And plus you get it all in one go. So you read through the whole course on your own first, and then you pace yourself out over 5 weeks. Whereas before I only fed it to you 1 week per week. Website. Yeah, and I'm not leaving you all alone in that. I've got the comments open. So I will be answering comments in there. So if you have questions about the course, then yeah. So I'll be going in there and doing that. Plus over summer, a lot of people are going away on holidays. So I thought also for the month of August, especially, I thought, well, if people are going away, do they really want that 5 weeks? Like you want to be able to pace it out yourself. You might want to skip a week, like just elongate 1 week if you're going away for a week or something. So over summer, it kind of makes sense right now. But yeah, we'll see if I bring the group coaching back because I've got other plans. You'll be able to hire me for group coaching sessions. Oh, sugar. You can pick and choose. Anyway, I do have scheduling issues because remember I specialize in crisis work. So I like to leave pretty much everything open just in case one of those parents needs me. And if I was bulking all my days up with the memberships and all this, whereas a certain time every single week, those spots would be taken. The crisis people couldn't get in then. Whereas I don't mind going to a client and saying, look, can I change your session? Because I got a crisis client who needs me. And if I do that, I give you an extra session. So, but I'm very, like I deal with life and death stuff. So, and you understand that, right? Why they have to take precedence. It's usually teenage stuff. Anyway, so I'm just figuring it all out. I thought it was an error. I'm so happy. Oh, thanks, Desi. Yeah, no, it wasn't. I should have said something, but I've. A 1-year-old just start crying about everything. Give it a couple of weeks. That's still a baby. They tend to go through stages, and could be teething. You may not see the tooth or anything yet, but yeah, give it a couple of weeks. If it's still happening, then you might want to look into it more. But yeah, they go through stages. Just when you think you got something figured out, they change again. That's toddlers. Because they're just forming. They're brand new, fresh human beings. Imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years and for one of those you were a potato laying on the floor. Like they're just brand new, fresh human beings. They're going to try stuff. Maybe your 1-year-old's frustrated they can't run. Maybe they've got other kids that can see out the window and they think, how come I can't run? They start to get this concept of they want to do whatever they see. They get urges, like they just want to join in. They start to feel their freedom and they can move around more. And some of them get frustrated because they can't move as fast. They're all different. Okay, kindergartner won't stop cussing. So I don't think I've ever said that before, cussing. Is that Southern, like cussing? I always think of that as a Southern word. Anyway, won't stop cussing. Put down no bad words on the behavior board, and every time your kindergartner says a bad word, there's a consequence. Is it normal for a 9-month-old to be scared of everything? Not necessarily. I don't know if it's loud noises. Do they have overly sensitive hearing? I don't know what you mean by scared of everything. Is it not usually the dark with a 9-month-old? But sorry. Yeah, I don't know what you mean. What are they scared of? And when did it start? And do they start crying, or are they startled? Do they just have that startle reflex? They tend to grow out of that. That's a newborn thing. So I don't quite know what you mean by that. I'm sorry, I'm in Missouri. LOL. Was that the cussing? Was that was? And I've done that. He just doesn't seem to care. Well, you're missing something. If you want to hire me, I could help you with it. There's always something. People say, I've tried everything and it doesn't work. Yeah, I don't think you've tried it. I've probably got a few ideas on my sleeve, but the behavior board is where I always go. On here, that's where I always go. The reason why I don't talk about, I never used a behavior board, and I call it in the moment discipline. Like in the course, the first 3 weeks is the behavior board. The last 2 weeks is in the moment discipline without the behavior board. So the in the moment discipline, I don't talk about, because you got to get that behavior board cemented first. That's your learner's license kind of thing, is the behavior board. You can't go right into driving with your full license until you got your learners. The behavior board is the learner's license. After that, once you've perfected that, then you can go into in the moment discipline. Like I would never have used a behavior board. I dealt with everything in day one, like as you know what I mean. But I'm level 10 with what I teach. So, but I'm teaching you how to get there. So we start level 1, level 2, level 3. That's 3 behavior boards. Okay, sounds like I need to hire you then. Well, you know where to find me if you're interested in hiring me. My daughter was scared of everything too, even a plant, silly glasses and flies. Now she's 4. Yeah, sometimes they just have problems perceiving things, like their perception is off, because everything new can startle them or scare them. But not always. That's more rare. Most kids aren't that easily scared, but it happens. It doesn't mean anything for the future, by the way. So don't worry about it. It's just they're processing it's just how they're developing. And don't read too much into things when they're toddlers. When they're toddlers, they're just crazy. I mean, they're just going through stage after stage. They're just trying stuff. don't look into that too deeply. My 2-year-old hates fans, but is around racing bikes. Can't figure them out, can you? I was just discussing this yesterday. I am going to do a course on toddlers. I've been working on it. I think I figured out a way around it. The thing is that the results are going to be such a slow burn. You're going to get, I think, why on earth would I do a course on toddlers? Because you're not going to get results right away. It's a slow burn. It takes a while. You have to invest a lot of time into toddlers, teaching them stuff. But I figured out how I'm going to do it. So yeah, I don't know how many weeks it's going to be. I haven't figured that out. Probably be 5 weeks. The reason I do 5 weeks is it takes about 3 weeks to learn a lot, and then the other 2 weeks to sort of hone it and perfect it. So, but yeah, I am going to do a toddler course. I might even do that before the teen course. I'll tell you why. Because parents of teenagers are way more likely to hire me because it's crisis work. And it is very, a lot of it is. Not all of it. Most of it isn't, but a lot of it is. So they're way more likely to hire me. Whereas parents of toddlers are less likely to hire me, but they need me just as much. It's just not as life-threatening. But not me, but I mean, they need advice just as much. But so we'll see what I'll do. How do I tell my daughter it's normal to have 2 moms? She gets mad when she doesn't have a dad. How old is she? I've had lots of same-sex parents as clients. And not one of them's really had problems with that because they do a lot of, what do they call it? Well, like there's Facebook groups and you can get kids together on Zooms and they can all chat. And so there's a lot of support around for that. In a lot of ways, those kids are emotionally more mature than a lot of other kids because they get so much counseling trying to prevent problems. Whereas we don't always think about that, right? But same-sex parents do tend to think about this stuff. They're trying to put out fires before they even start. So, but yeah, not one of them's really had problems with that. They haven't hired me for that is what I'm saying. Because they've done so much work with counseling and all this and support. Some of them even have special schools where there's more kids that do have same-sex parents, depends on where you live, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah. I said something really stupid once. Well, millions of times I've said stupid things, but this one, it just reminded me of this. I know someone who donated her egg for her brother because he's in a same-sex marriage. Anyway, so he wanted kids. So she donated her egg because they needed an egg. So they decided it would be her egg and the husband's sperm. So I think that's how they did it. So I said this. Can you guess what I said? I said, why didn't you just use your brother's sperm? Brother and sister together. They looked at me like, what are you talking about? Are you that stupid? Yep. I thought that was pretty dumb. But I don't have a filtering system. I just say what I'm thinking. It just flies out. So I'm sure other people would have thought of that too. They just think before they speak. 20-month-old is always bad in public. Well, if it's just in public, there's a couple of reasons for that. There's more things to get in trouble with. He gets overstimulated by you're at the play center, whatever, or that you're an inconsistent parent. Are you I was the exact same mother no matter where we were. My kids, I was 100% predictable. They knew exactly how I would react to absolutely everything. Why on earth would they ever ask me anything if they knew the answer was no? Why would they act out when they knew I knew how to take care of business? So be consistent when you're out and when you're home. And other than that, if they just get overstimulated when you're out, they're just little still, right? They'll outgrow that. I'm gonna have to go soon. I've got a session. I've got someone tonight and it's a 1-session person. And I always say, be ready to take notes. If I'm only getting someone for an hour, I work up a sweat. I want to get as much information into them as possible. I've got nothing to pace out. I've got 1 hour. Yeah, I'm getting ready to work up a sweat. I should be stretching right now. Most people don't hire me for just 1 session, but when they do, I always tell them to take a lot of notes because I do tend to put a lot in. That's just my own stuff. Okay. Well, I don't understand this. My 18-month-old throws a fit if she doesn't get what she wants and is always dragging me around. Why are you letting an 18-month-old drag you around? She has a fit when she doesn't get what she wants. Just make sure she doesn't get what she wants and she learns how to have fits. And you can redirect. 18 months is still sort of a baby in my book. I would say up to 16 to 18 months, they're on the cusp of a baby toddler. So what I like to do with them is you sort of, I hate diversion, you know that. Here's some candy if you stop doing that. That's diversion, like a reward. But this is how I divert a baby. If they're having a fit because they didn't get their own way, I would go sit on the couch and read one of their books out loud to myself. And I would do it like this. Oh, and the cat and the hat. Oh, wow. Oh, this is interesting. Eventually, like you're ignoring them, by the way. You're still ignoring tantrums. But you see what I'm doing here? And then just completely, don't say, come over here, because they're going to go, yeah, they're going to have a fit. Just completely ignore them. Next thing you know, they're crawling in your lap and you're reading together. So, because you're always presenting a calm leadership sort of, you're always a calm leader. So, and they can learn that at 18 months old. And my son, the reason I know they can learn when they're really young is my son had tantrums. My daughter never did. They're either born to have them or they're not. And he had bigger, louder, longer tantrums with his dad than he did with me. So that just says that they do understand leadership. He still had them. You can't stop them. They will outgrow them eventually. When they're about 3 to 3.5, they only do what works. Not before then. They'll still do what doesn't work. But anyway, they only do what works. And when tantrums never work, they just stop doing them by about 3.5. So anyway, I have to go. I've got a session. And anyway, go on my website. It's bratbusters.com. You'll see the price is drastically. It's less than half on that Calm Leadership course. It filled up and I had to take out the group coaching because otherwise I can't offer it for another 5 weeks. You see, get filled up. So I can only handle so many people in group coaching. This way you can pace yourself, you get the whole thing in one go and pace yourself out over 5 weeks. I've just taken the group coaching out. That's all I've done. And it's all the same. And anyway, I got to go. Thanks so much for joining me and we'll talk again soon. Bye now.